dynamic.
That's easy. We just zap straight there with wish number 2.
Hey! Don't I get a say in this? Hi, everybody! It's me!
It's Goku!
Dad, what's going on?
I'm speaking to you from Otherworld, so I'll make it quick. You know, Bulma said something to me years ago that stuck with me. She told me I was like a magnet for all the bad guys that were always popping up. And if you think about it, that's not really too far from the truth. I get the feeling that Earth's gonna be way more peaceful if I just stay where I am now. And King Kai agrees with me.
This is bullshit. No, it's really bullshit. This has always bothered me, even though I wrote bullied. But people always say that Goku is the reason for most villains in the franchise showing up, which I understand. It makes sense why people would say that. Goku himself pretty much says that, hey, I'm the real reason all these villains are showing up. But that's simply not the case. While you can make an argument that Goku's the reason a lot of these villains showed up at the time they did, pretty much every villain Goku faces exists with or without him existing. And I'll be going over every villain, not antagonist, in GT, Super, and Z, and explain to you why it doesn't matter if Goku exists. In fact, it's a good thing he exists, because he's the only one who ends up being able to defend these people. Let's begin. Starting off with Pilaf. Pilaf was around without Goku, and if Goku didn't come to Earth, he would have wished to rule the world. Also, Bulma probably would have become some kind of entertainment investor, end quote, for the Monster Carrot Gang. I guess it's possible Pilaf does not rule the Earth due to Monster Carrot. Maybe Monster Carrot collects all the Dragon Balls because he has Bulma, and he just turns Pilaf into a rabbit. But we're here to talk about how the villains are not Goku's fault, not which ones would rule the world. Although Monster Carrot possibly being the antagonist of all of Dragon Ball is kind of funny if you ask me. Next we have the Red Ribbon Army, and Goku really doesn't have any effect on them aside from their defeats. The Red Ribbon Army showed up either before Goku or without Goku's intervention, and honestly, they aren't even that bad. They wanted to wish for Commander Red to be taller, though Commander Red didn't tell them he wanted to be taller. The worst that can happen is Jiro's androids, which we'll get to later, but these people exist with or without Goku. And without Goku, they would have ruled the world, so again, not Goku's fault. Demon King Piccolo, we'll call Piccolo for short, existed long before Goku. Even if the Pilaf gang opened the jar because of Goku, someone in the future would have eventually done so themselves. And even then, they would really be a problem. Like, would Piccolo be a problem? Assuming everything that happens up to this arc is the same without Goku, Jiro is alive and making androids. Regardless of if Demon King Piccolo is awake or not, Jiro is the biggest threat to Earth, and as well as Majin Buu. It's very likely Demon King Piccolo either be possessed by Babidi or Jiro will kill him using his androids, one of the two. So, Demon King Piccolo not only comes to be a problem without Goku, but he's dealt with without Goku. Albeit, it's a lot sooner with Goku than Jiro or Babidi. Alright, admittingly, Piccolo Jr. is Goku's fault. However, you could still make the argument Piccolo Jr. would exist with or without Goku. You see, Piccolo Jr. is just a spawn of Piccolo, one which is just, I think it's the fourth spawn of Demon King Piccolo, at least from what we see in Dragon Ball. It's possible that after Piccolo wishes for his youth, he spawns Piccolo as a successor, or just as another servant. We don't know. See, all of the other spawns of Piccolo were quite mutated, very un-Namekian, except for Piccolo Jr. So, it's possible that Piccolo Jr. is a reincarnation as like it's only something that can happen because he's a reincarnation. I don't know how to explain this. Like, does Piccolo Jr. look the way he is because Piccolo decided? Or does Piccolo Jr. only look the way he is because he is a reincarnation? That's what you gotta, like, figure out and decide. So, I don't know. I'm not sure. If you think that he only looks that way because of the fact he is a reincarnation, then no, Piccolo can't exist without Goku, and thus is Goku's fault. If you don't think it is, then Piccolo Jr. wouldn't exist without Goku. However, if Dr. Gero's androids killed Piccolo, as I suggested before, and we're saying that hypothetically Goku isn't around this timeline, as I said before, Piccolo, their Demon King Piccolo, would still exist with or without Goku. It's possible that Demon King Piccolo gives birth to Piccolo Jr. after being killed by Gero's androids. So I personally think Piccolo Jr. would exist with or without Goku, but hey, you can tell me, am I right or am I wrong? Sorry that this one is so confusing, I just couldn't think of how to explain it, and I actually forgot to write it down, so my bad. The Satan/Frieza are the closest thing to "this is Goku's fault" villain on the list. However, that just simply isn't true if you stop and think for a minute. Hell, 30 seconds maybe. Yeah, let me ask you a simple question. How did Goku get to Earth? Stop and think about that. I'll give you a little bit of time. Figure it out. Goku made it to Earth because Bardock sent him there. Which means Bardock knew where the planet was, which means the Saiyans knew where Earth was. Which means Frieza knew where it was. Sure, the Saiyans and Frieza showed up a lot sooner than they would have in canon, if at all, since the Saiyans might have been dust by then, because of Goku being there. And, like I said, maybe the Saiyans wouldn't show up at all, maybe they'd be too old, and they'd be retirement, or maybe Frieza killed them, or whatever. But sooner or later, Frieza's army would have showed up to Earth, a planet on their catalog, with the resources, even if it's a, quote, backwater planet, end quote. Frieza would have showed up there. And since an average Frieza soldier solos all of Dragon Ball, Frieza himself doesn't even need to show up. He can send a random squad of Frieza soldiers and they could take over the whole planet. Like, honestly. So if anything, it's not even Bardock's fault. It's whoever discovered Earth. You know, maybe it was Jocko. Maybe Jocko found it and the Frieza Force, like, robbed the Galactic Patrol of their database. I don't know. So it's Bardock's fault the Saiyans and Frieza showed up early, but it's not Goku's fault that they showed up, because they were going to show up regardless. No matter how you put this is not Goku's fault. At all. The Saiyans and Frieza are not Goku's fault. Now, Cell is a complicated thing. Because the Red Ribbon Army, as I said earlier, exists with or without Goku. It's perfectly possible that Gero would still make Cell in a timeline where they thrived. Now, Cell would be much weaker, yes, but it's possible. However, in canon, the reason Gero made Cell was as a backup plan to defeat Goku. So, I suppose that you could say that Cell is indeed Goku's fault. However, the Red Ribbon Army would have taken over the Earth if Goku didn't exist. And they still might have created Cell. You know, maybe Gero just got bored and he just wanted to create a biological android instead of non-biological. So, I can be swung either way with this one, because in canon he exists because of Goku, but the Red Ribbon Army and Gero would exist with or without Goku, which means Cell could still hypothetically be created. So this can go either way. I swing towards the side of Cell would have been created either way, but if you think that Cell exists solely because of Goku, no, I'm not going to blame you. That's an acceptable opinion. Majin Buu was undoubtedly not Goku's fault. No matter how you pin this, or how you point fingers, this is not Goku's fault. Majin Buu was on the planet long before Goku, or likely any of our cast. The only thing in question is whether he'd revive on Earth. And if you remember correctly, him being revived isn't Goku's fault. It's Vegeta's. A video eventually on that too, how like everything is Vegeta's fault in Dragon Ball Z. Hell, if Goku wasn't around, the Supreme Kai and Beerus would have died to Dabura. Think about that. You know, let's hypothetically say here, okay, just for a moment, okay. Let's say that Vegeta somehow becomes a good guy, okay, and say him and Gohan still come to exist somehow. We'll say Gohan is Vegeta's kid in this situation. I don't know how, right? And Supreme Kai, you know, same stupid plan he had before. So Majin Buu is already like halfway revived from Gohan's energy. And then, you know, Vegeta fights Pui Pui, Gohan fights Yakon, but, you know, a little bit more energy is taken away this time because Gohan's rusty. And then Vegeta fights Dabura. Alright. Now, I don't think Dabura would have been defeated as fast as Vegeta claims. Also, because Goku doesn't exist here, you know, Vegeta would have goofed off. And so I think Majin Buu would be revived even if Goku wasn't there. And, you know, let's say Vegeta and Gohan aren't there, because realistically that's what would have happened. Like, they wouldn't exist. The Supreme Kai would have showed up to Bobby's doorstep and get killed by Dabura. Alright? And then Bobby would have kept absorbing energy. You know, maybe he leaves Earth, but he'd still be absorbing energy. Until Buu is revived. So, no. Majin Buu is not Goku's fault. And even if you say, oh, well, Vegeta was acting the way he is because Goku wanted revived. How? Okay. Vegeta couldn't wait 10 minutes? Right? It's not Goku's fault. Vegeta is a freaking mental patient. Right? That's not Goku's fault. Vegeta's always been that way. Alright? Hell, like, Vegeta... Why did Vegeta even want to fight Goku in the tournament? They can't fight all out anyways. So, really, like... It's pretty much as every What If YouTuber puts it. The Buu Saga is just so much needs to happen for the Buu Saga to happen. It's not even funny. Now we move on to the Machine Mutant Saga. I'm looping Lude all the way to Baby with this one, since they're all part of that said army, even though Baby kind of deserted. The Saiyans are to blame for them existing, yes, but Goku wasn't even alive at the time that the Tuffles were destroyed. Lude, the Sigma Force, Rildo, and Baby would still exist with or without Goku. With, what was his name? Dr. Milo? Dr. Miro? I think it was Miro. The doctor, the guy who created Baby and Rildo and all of them, was still creating them to destroy the Saiyans. Even though he didn't know any of them existed, I guess he knew Vegeta and co. were alive. Now, if Goku didn't beat the Red Ribbon Army and the Super Mutants, Super 17 wouldn't exist. So I guess technically Super 17 is his fault, but that's just like with 13 to 20 and Cell. If he didn't exist, then a lot more people would have died, so ultimately Super 17 existing isn't really a bad thing. It was overall a good thing, because if he didn't, then the Super Mutants would have just kept going across the universe and taking over planets and shit. So, Super 17, technically Goku's fault, but, you know, I think we can give him the pass. I think we can give him the pass, because overall, the Mutant Machine Army would still exist with or without Goku. I think we can give him the pass, but, hey, if you want to give Goku shit for Super 17 existing, who am I to stop you, right? The Shadow Dragon. Now, this is a very complicated subject. The Shadow Dragons were made by the wishes of Goku and Ko. So, Goku is definitely partially to blame, but it's not just his fault. So you can't put the blame solely on Goku. right? They're not there specifically because of Goku. However, I think they would exist with or without Goku. You see, in Dragon Ball Super, Bulma has shown that she wishes to be dummy thick. Slightly adjusted. It's completely possible that Bulma uses the Dragon Balls so much, as well as reviving people when shit hits the fan, like with the Red Ribbon Army and such, that the Shadow Dragons would come to exist either way. Remember, the Dragon Balls aren't used every year, right? In Dragon Ball GT, we don't see, at least we don't see them used every year in Dragon Ball GT. Dragon Ball GT, they used them against Cell. Then there was a 7-year time gap where they used them again. And then there was a 15-year time skip between the Buu Saga and the GT Saga. And yet that negative energy did not dissipate, okay? The negative energy takes a really long time. Like the negative energy from one wish takes a long time to dissipate. So I think that Bulma would, or if not Bulma, then other people, being like, hey, can I use the Dragon Balls, Bulma? I think the Shadow Dragons would still come to exist, but, I mean, that's up for you to decide. Does Bulma make the Shadow Dragons in the search for dummy thickness? Would Oceanus Shenron be like extra dummy thick? Would Omega have titties? Ew, no, I don't want to. Imagine Omega Shenron, but like moist. There's fan art of that somewhere. I can smell it. That catfish looking dragon probably has some fan art where he's just extra dummy thick. But oh god, why am I talking about this? Bulma's the cause of the Shadow Dragons. There we go. Now we get to Goku Black, because, Beerus, Golden Frieza still exists without Goku. We already went about that earlier. Well, we didn't talk about Golden Frieza, but Frieza would still exist with or without Goku. Beerus and Hit aren't a villain, they're antagonists, so that leaves us with Goku Black. This is a technicality. Goku Black himself wouldn't exist without Goku. This is true, because that's Goku's body. However, Zamasu would still exist, with or without Goku. And me personally, I think at some point, Zamasu would still kill Gowasu, my bad, and start his Zero Mortal plan. However, even then, there's another way to look at it. Zamasu wouldn't have seen God Ki if Beerus didn't make the tournament. And so, if you think about it, it might be Beerus' fault that Zamasu exists. Goku wouldn't know about God Ki if Beerus didn't show up. And then Whis allowed Beerus to train Goku and Vegeta. However, afterwards, Beerus didn't tell them to leave. He wasn't like, Whis, they have to go. He made them stay. Like, he was perfectly okay with them staying and learning Super Saiyan Blue. So if Beerus didn't teach them God Ki, then Zamasu wouldn't have been like, ugh, filthy mortals. I mean, or maybe he would have, because he saw Hit using time skip. He's like, I can't believe these mortals using a godly technique, messing with time. So, I think Zamasu would still exist without Goku, but Goku Black wouldn't exist without Goku. I think this is Beerus' fault and not Goku's, but, again, it's a technicality and it's really hard. Like, this one's definitely debatable. Goku Black's not debatable. Goku Black would have existed with or without Goku, but Zamasu. I think if we didn't get Goku Black, we'd probably get Hit Black, and then everyone would laugh at Zamasu for having a penis head. I'm just saying. Moro is the same as Majin Buu. Eventually, he would be freed, only this time Beerus would have to stop him. Also, the Grand Supreme Kai, I think that was his name, the Grand Supreme Kai, the one stuck in Majin Buu, he would not exist. Or, like, he would exist, but he wouldn't be coming out of Majin Buu to help him fight. So, I mean, in reality, Goku existing is what prevented Moro from existing here. But yeah, Moro exists with or without Goku. And then there's the Heaters, which again existed before Goku. They fought Goku's father. Now, they wouldn't be making wishes with the Dragon Balls, however, since Granola Bar wouldn't be making a wish for them to be known about them, like for the Heaters to know about the Dragon Balls. But Granola only made the wish because he learned of the Saiyans after hearing about Frieza, so that's another debate. Are the Heaters being the big bad guys, like, are they Goku's fault? I guess. What's his name? Gas? I guess you could argue Gas being as strong as he is Goku's fault, but the Heaters as a group existed before Goku. Before he was even born. No, actually, I think it was after Goku was born, but before he got launched, like, out of his pod and onto Earth. So, it's been a while since I read the manga, but either way, the Heaters, not Goku's fault.